Hey y'all, what's up? I'm back again. Back from vacation, and a lot of things have happened. A lot of things are moving right along, like I knew they would be. So let's just go ahead and get right into it, okay? So mandations for this jab is basically coming down the pike fast. I looked again, and they already have like the federal, of course, the federal workers. Joe Biden said like anybody who has like a federal job is mandated to get it. So then I'm speaking to nurses at certain nursing homes, and they are now being mandated to get it. They have like a deadline that they have to reach, so to get the jab, or else they won't have a job. Um, Also, like, just a lot of businesses are like private owned businesses are telling their employees that they got to be jabbed in order to continue working. New York has rolled out their vaccine passport. So basically, De Blasio said that, we were nice to you guys, and if, we tried to give you guys parting gifts, money to take the jab, things like that, and you didn't. So now we're gonna make it just basically very, very hard for you to function in society. Like this, that's his words, not mine. So if you wanna, in New York, if you wanna go to the gym, if you want to go to Broadway shows, anything entertainment, restaurants, you better have your papers. And if you don't have your papers, you can't come, which says a lot about the gym part too. Like, do they really care about people's health care, like how they're doing, health status rather? So you would make it that people can't go to the gym. I mean, a lot of people need to go to the gym. Didn't y'all say like obesity was like a big deal with the Cove? But whatever. So in this video, towards the end, I will talk about three pieces of like documentation that I found, maybe that could possibly help people with these mandations that are coming out. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not like good as far as with wording things. I do know that private owned businesses do have the right to make their decisions about who they fire, or who they, they at will firing and things like that. It's their right. But what kills me about that is that, you know, they have their right to fire people if they want for not getting jabbed, but the government is also coercing them to do that. That's called fascism. But here we are today. So just wanted to say a couple things. Yesterday I watched an interview with Fauci, and he's making these comments that like about, oh, as soon as the jab is approved, which he's hoping for like somewhere around August, it's gonna be great because it's gonna it's gonna open up more opportunities for more mandation, like the universities will be able to mandate, and just everybody will be able to do it now. Yay. I mean, he really, I'm not even being too sarcastic, he really gets glee in that thought. So y'all will be ready to just tell people they can't go to school, they can't, if they don't get the jab, they can't do anything, and that makes him happy. We are talking about a jab, by the way, that has now been shown to have what they're calling breakthrough infections. Breakthrough infections, which I quote. What is a breakthrough infection? It's a faulty jab. That's what it is. I mean, let's call these things what they are. Asymptomatic carrier. That's a healthy person. Do you know how many viruses we're carrying inside of us? That doesn't mean that we're sick all the time. That's a healthy person. I hated when they started saying asymptomatic carriers. And again, breakthrough, rare breakthrough. They know it's not rare. Number one, it's not rare because what they did now is that they're not going to test. No, if a fully jabbed person gets a COVID test and it comes up positive, they won't count that because they're fully jabbed. So it's going to go against what they're trying to promote, So then you'll just keep seeing that a lot of fully jabbed people are coming up positive. So there's that. And then there's plenty of headlines that many people in the hospitals are fully jabbed, and people who have died are fully jabbed too. So then they say, well, it helps with your symptoms, and it calms your symptoms down and it makes them less severe. I remember back in the day when COVID first came around, and when we were finally getting the data, and we realized that people had a 99.98% chance of survival. So that's always been the thing, that if you get COVID, you more than likely won't have to go to the hospital. Some people will run across COVID. They will make the necessary antibodies that they need and not even feel many symptoms from it. You know, COVID is not new. It's not new. Respiratory viruses certainly aren't new. And why are we acting like this is something different? And I see some of my colleagues acting like they don't know, like, what's going to happen, with the jab, like, not with just the jab, with this infection process of COVID and natural immunity, and does it really work? It's the same thing we learned. T-cell immunities, they're all there. Now, I want to make it clear, too. It is your choice. If you made a conscious decision to take the jab, I'm happy for you. I am. I don't have an issue with people who take the jab. I'm not out here telling people not to take it. I can't tell anybody what to do, and I'm not nobody's doctor. But I have a problem with being forced. If they weren't trying to force this, I wouldn't be up here talking. I would just mind my business. People can say whatever they want. But the forcing, that's an issue. Now we've passed anything that has any kind of control that makes it's outlandish. Moving right along, Fauci also came and decided to come at healthcare workers nurses, who don't want to get jabbed. And, Chuck Todd, it was Meet the Press, and he was on with Chuck Todd. And Chuck Todd is like, I think it's irrational that healthcare workers don't want to get jabbed up in nursing homes. First of all, a lot of them already have, okay? But understand that that's that person's choice. Now, and then somebody will be like, well, that's so selfish because you'll spread the disease to the most vulnerable. But you still can anyway. You still can. Because they said the CDC has come. This is not some big secret either. It's not. Because they had to finally concede the fact that, like, okay, so the jab doesn't prevent you from getting it. It doesn't prevent you from spreading it, but you just won't be as sick. That's called treatment, all right? That's what that's called. So stop forcing something on a healthcare worker who says they don't want to have it. That will still pass it along to people. Anyway, that is the most insane thing. Like, how you just going to take care of people and then you don't get jabbed up, and then you're going to pass on the sickness to people who are more sicker than you, and then now all of a sudden everybody cares, and they're trying to make people feel bad for this. Again, and please excuse my tone, but it is frustrating watching the rhetoric. Like, like nurses definitely, and I'm saying nurses, but it's not just nurses. It's EMS, CNAs, doctors, anybody. But I am a nurse, so I'm gonna gravitate to that word for now. It's very frustrating watching people saying, like, yeah, the nurses who don't want to take that, like, that's so selfish of them. Excuse me? Number one, again, it doesn't change the fact that the person can still spread the disease, okay, with the jab. Secondly, how dare you? How dare you, Fauci? How dare you, Chuck Todd, and whoever else who don't know anything about nursing? Let me make this very clear. I never needed a thank you. Genuine nurses with integrity or anybody in healthcare, they don't need a thank you or a trophy from people, but what we do need is for people to not impose into our personal lives. Nurses, healthcare workers are picking up people off the floor, working hard. They haven't peed in 16 hours. That's a normal day too, by the way. That's not just because of the COVID and the COVID, mass people you had some nurses though who wanted to be heroes and take pictures with their scars of their masks and all that. And no, it's not about being a hero. It's just something that just isn't talked about. On a busy day, you might not pee all day, or you might have just had a bowl of cereal and then that's it for the rest of the day, and it's 10 p.m. and you didn't eat anything else. So, or what about the prison nurse who's working with or the prison healthcare worker working with murderers who don't have anything to lose and putting their lives at risk? And so now you want to make these people feel bad for not taking a jab that will still pass on, spread the infection. Okay, so I have a problem with that. Um, like I said, nobody's asking for thank yous, but Fauci, I don't need for you to come and attack healthcare workers in that way, or anybody else for that matter. Am I right? Now, like I said, I wanted to just talk about some quick resources, like some quick wording. I'm not a lawyer. I'm saying it again. I'm going to leave these links on the description in the video. So there's just some things from like the HHS, from Pfizer, from like the FDA, talking about like mandation, or like how it should be if you decide not to take the jab. So this one is from U.S. Code 360 BBB. I will leave the link in the description. It says appropriate conditions designed to ensure that individuals to whom the product is administered are informed. So basically, of the option to accept or refuse administration of the product. So that they're informing you. So if they're telling you to, well, all right. So there's that, and then like I said, I'll leave that link. But the explanation of this one. This is from Safer Federal Workforce. And this can be for anybody. It's not just for healthcare workers. At present, COVID-19 vaccination should generally not be a precondition for employees or contractors at executive departments and agencies to work in person in federal buildings, on federal lands, and in other settings as required by their job duties. I mean, that plainly says it. It's kind of hard. I don't know if they change these policies, but things that I find that maybe they can help, So, and then there's like the FDA talking about like a fact sheet, and it says, what if I decide not to get the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? I hate that I just said that word. So anyway, it is your choice to receive or not receive the Pfizer COVID jab. Should you decide not to receive it, it will not change your standard medical care. I will leave the links to what I just read to you guys. So that last one, I feel like I can explain myself a little better. Like, I feel like if it was me, I would be like, well, the FDA says right here, if I choose not to receive this jab, it shouldn't change my standard of medical care, right? So now if you go and fire me, I'm not going to have insurance anymore. So that means everything else goes by the wayside. Whatever else I had going on, if I have some sort of chronic sickness, now I can't get my medication for that. So, my regular physicals, my regular lab draws, everything to maintain my status, my baseline status of healthy living. Now I can't do, because now I don't have the insurance, because you decided to fire me over not taking this jab. And for those people like myself who work freelance, who don't have insurance from a certain company, I would argue the point like, well, the pay that I get, I use that for my copay when I go to the doctors, when I'm sick, or for my routine physicals and everything. So if I don't have this job because I didn't take the jab, then you're changing my standard of medical care. These are words, those of you who are hooking up with lawyers and everything, they probably already know this. Maybe they don't. It's an avenue to go, because it's got to try something, all right? And, again, the whole thing about, and I'm going to say this one last time, about trying to attack a healthcare worker that doesn't want to receive this jab. Y'all really care now about healthcare workers getting all their jabs, which, by the way, we do. Like, if you're working with kids, we have to get the jab for like pertussis, things like that. We do that. No, I ain't never seen no big protest for that, and you don't know we do that. We do that. So this one is experimental, but everybody all of a sudden cares. Oh, they gotta get, because then they're gonna spread this and that. You know how many back in 1981, 82, 83, when HIV was on the scene, do you know how many people, healthcare workers, who got HIV from a needle prick or from while servicing someone? And then do you know how many went back to work as a nurse, doctor, CNA, whoever? They went back to work after such a thing happened to them? Nobody cared, okay? So stop it. Stop it now. That's enough, okay? I gave you those resources. And then another thing, I'm going to leave this. I have a couple more videos I'm going to do about just like the scientific reasoning for not taking it. And then also, I have, speaking of HIV, I do have a video about that I will be working on soon. But another thing, those of you who I'm seeing who are trying to bully people on social media, making fun of people, talking about if you're anti-jabber, then all you did was be on a phone to get your research in. That sounds so ridiculous. Like, come on, it's 2021. Everybody has a way to get the information. You might have to look a little harder for it, but it's there. It is there. So people have a way. Everybody can ask a question. You don't have to be a scientist to question a scientist. You're just asking a question, right? You don't have to be elite. You don't have to be a nurse. I advocate for people. Speak up, man. This is your health care. This is your health care. And like I said, people who made a conscious decision to take this, kudos to you. Forcing is the problem, and bullying is corny, for lack of a better term. Like, come on, what does that do for you? To bully people, what does it do? Like, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel good. You a big man on campus, like, yeah, I took the jab. I'm gonna make fun of people. I'm gonna look down on them. I took the jab. That don't make sense. That does not make sense. Yo, people trying to figure out their lives, guys. All right? Like, everybody has something going on. It's too much division, too. Because I come from the avenue of, like, yo, like, everybody has a right to make their own choices. All right? So, I'm leaving with that. And I thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, share this video, because I'm going to say share this video, because I feel like those little resources I put maybe they could help somebody. I don't know, in some fashion. And that's how it should be. People shouldn't be forced to do things against their will. So, thank you again for watching, and I will be talking to you guys soon, all right? All right, bye.